You know that feeling when August hits and then all of a sudden you're on full-blown like back to school mode? Yeah, that's what I've been feeling lately. And the thing is that whether you're homeschooling like me or your kids go to a traditional school, we kind of all get into this like collectively like kind of lose our mind mode. Like we buy the supplies, we sign up for all the activities, we commit to routines that we swear we're gonna stick to. And then when October comes, we're kind of already feeling burned out, but then we power through because we got the holidays and new year, new me. And the next thing you know, February, we're like completely burnt out and not doing any of the things. So today, I want to ask you, what if we did this year differently? What if we didn't start the year out at 100 miles per hour and end up crashing and burning midway through the year? And instead, what if we just started slow? So that's what I'm going to talk about today. If you're new here, I'm Sue. This is Cozy Notes. I'm kind of more vlog style today because this is kind of off the cuff. And it's how I'm living right now. It's what I'm dealing with and trying to remind myself that I need to slow down a bit. So welcome to Cozy Notes, a place where we talk about mindful living or slow living or intentional living, whatever you want to call it. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's get into it. Okay, so today you kind of have me in action. If you're watching this on YouTube rather than listening, I am doing my laundry right now because it's a busy day. I didn't really plan on recording this podcast episode. I'm stuck. I'm kind of done for the season. So my podcast is like seasonal. So every spring, every summer, I come out with like 8 to 9 episodes or something like that. And I was done. And I decided to do this episode about the school year because this is where my mind is right now. This is what's going on in my life. Like right now, my son, he's in high school and we homeschool. And so we homeschool through a charter school. And so we are, I guess you call it relaxed homeschoolers. We're very like fluid and flexible and it's kind of like child-led, etc. But with high school, it's a different beast. If I want to continue homeschooling through this charter school, then we need to set more structure. We need to have more structure in our homeschool. And so, yeah, I've been like in this mode of planning for my son's high school year. He is taking a lot of classes that I'm not teaching. He's taking like 2 online classes. He's taking 2 in-person classes, one of them at the community college. And then I'm teaching language arts and history because those are my subjects. I used to be a teacher. And so that's what we're doing. So I had to like pretty much plan language arts and history. And it's been a while since I've done that. It's been a while since I've even thought about planning out a course and a unit and all that stuff. So yeah, it's been a challenge. And then also like my kids want to take all these extracurricular activities and I have 3 kids. And so it's looking at my calendar, like next month, it's zooming around from one place to the next, to the next, to the next. So pretty much we need to take our homeschool on the road because of the age difference with my kids. Like they're not able to take classes together. My boys are able to take some classes together, but my daughter is unable to take classes with her brothers anymore because the age differences. And so just looking at everything, I started to feel overwhelmed, and I don't want to be overwhelmed. I want to live a life that feels joyful and happy and it just feels good, where we're not rushed, where we don't have to do all the things. But at the same time, it's life. We have to do things. It's not like I can just like totally, skip out, move to like the middle of nowhere, Alaska, and just homeschool the way I want to homeschool. I want my kids to be able to have these extracurricular opportunities. Like my oldest son, he really loves art, so he's taken a lot of art classes. And I want that for him because I want him to pursue his interests. But also, we have all this other academic stuff that we need to do too. And so this past couple weeks, I've been feeling like, there's just too much going on. And in the past me would have done all the things. I would not have considered the time that I need for myself in order to be the best mom I can be, best homeschool parent and teacher that I can be. Like if I'm maxed out, I'm not going to be a happy parent. I'm going to be irritated with my kids very easily. I'm going to be yelling at them all the time. I'm going to be short-tempered. I'm going to be like, why can't you get this, kind of a thing? And they don't need that, because when I'm like that, they shut down. And when they shut down, they don't learn. Okay. So I'm just trying to be as mindful of my energy as much as theirs too. They can't be just keep going, piling all these things on top of their schedules and doing all the things, right? They need to recuperate too. They need space as well. It's not just me. I don't want them to learn that they need to fill their time up with everything, with all the activities. I want them to learn how to, and just because they can't, I want them to learn that that even though they can do it all and they can do a lot, that they don't have to. It's okay to not do it all. It's okay to rest. It's okay to, live a life that you actually enjoy and not get burnt out. Because trust me, like I said, I used to be a teacher. I taught middle school. You would think middle school students wouldn't be burnt out, but a lot of my middle school students were very high achieving, and they were already worried about college in middle school and all the things that they needed to do, and they stressed themselves out. And you know what? They burnt out. And when they burnt out, they pretty much gave up. And I don't want my kids to do that. I want them to love learning, and I want to love teaching them. Okay. So yeah, right. I'm talking about homeschooling. So some of you are probably gonna dip out. I'm like, I don't homeschool my kids. I don't really care about this, but this kind of pertains to those of you that send your kids to traditional schools. And I get it. If you don't have kids, then you don't need to listen to this podcast. You can go. I'll see you later. Next season starts, starts in fall, September something, 21st, 20th. I don't remember. So see you then. Anyways, thanks for being here. But yeah, we don't need to do it all. So I did write some notes down, and I'm going to refer to them because I feel like I'm already getting off track, which is what happens when I go off the cuff and don't follow my notes. I don't like scripts because then I'm just talking like a robot, and I'm not a robot. The reasons why we tend to start hard at the beginning of the year, for one, is excitement. We're excited, right? It's exciting. I remember that the excitement of the new year and wanting to plan out the school year and just going to school, how exciting that is. And my kids don't, they don't go to school. They have classes and stuff, but that's exciting for them too, on their first day of class and all that. But excitement is one reason why we kind of go hard, because we're so excited. We have all this energy and we're not really thinking of the future selves, our future selves. How even though we have energy right now to do all the things, in a month or two, we're probably not going to. Probably not going to have that same energy. I don't know about you, but getting through the school year, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And I think we need to remind ourselves that we need to pace ourselves. This excitement that we feel, we kind of confuse it a bit too with urgency. We think, oh, we have to do all these things. I have to sign up my kids for all these classes. I have to, get them in these enrichment classes after school. I have to do all this stuff. But do we really have to? No, not really. We just feel the need to. But are they okay not having those things? Are they okay being bored? And then we also have this pressure to do it right, especially at the beginning of the year. We need to start off on the right foot. We need to do all the things correctly in order to have a good year. And so we put this pressure on ourselves to get it right the first time. I was putting pressure on myself creating these courses for my son. And thankfully, our homeschool teacher, our charter school teacher, she got on the phone with me this morning and we talked about it, and it kind of eased my anxiety. I'm an overachiever. I was kind of going above and beyond the scope. I was making things harder on myself rather than easier. It doesn't have to be so detailed right now. It's why did I think that it would have to be so detailed? It doesn't. I just need a general, almost like a syllabus. I need a syllabus for the classes that I'm creating. And I was thinking I needed to plan out the whole year, every little lesson and everything that we're gonna do. But no, I just needed to create a syllabus, making my life harder than it needs to be. And then another thing that we do is fall into the comparison trap. Even though we know it's there, we still fall into it. We see what other people are doing and think, oh, I should do that too, or oh, my kids should do that too. And then we try to do it when we don't need to do it. Just because someone else is doing it and they enjoy it doesn't mean you got to do it or your kids got to do it right now. There's time. We don't need to have that desperate energy like, oh my gosh, we got to do this or we don't. My child's going to miss out and his life is going to be ruined. And the next thing you know, he's going to be homeless and on drugs and all that stuff. It's like, dude, you're future tripping. Chill out. And then also on top of that, it's really internalized. Society has internalized the belief, or we have internalized the belief that society has put on us that in order to be a good mom, you need to do the most. And you don't. I'm not saying you barely do anything. I'm not saying that at all, but you don't have to do the most. Like, your kids will become better adults if they do some things on their own. Like, if you do everything for them and sign them up for everything and take them to everywhere, like, you're not really giving them any autonomy, you know? Like, let them choose. Do they want to do all this stuff? Maybe your child's an introvert and they just need to chillax a bit more. Maybe your child is an extrovert, but maybe some of these things they can do on their own. You don't need to be involved. You don't need to take them everywhere. There's nothing wrong with public transportation or walking or biking or any of that stuff. But for whatever reason, we believe that's all unsafe. Even though all of us growing up, we did all those things. And statistically, the world is safer now, or at least where we live here in the US, is safer now than it was back when we were kids. So it's like, what the heck? But anyways, all this stuff, they all lead to us overscheduling our kids with zero margin for like rest for any of us, for the kids, for us. We end up getting burnt out by the holidays. Whichever holiday you want to choose, depends how fast you went. Maybe you get burnt out by Halloween. Maybe it's not until Thanksgiving. Maybe it's Christmas. Maybe it's New Year's. Maybe it's, I don't know, Valentine's Day. But you're gonna end up burnt out. And that's a fact, because it happens every freaking year and you know it. You know it. We all know it, but yet we keep doing the same thing over and over again. And then with burnout, we get decision fatigue. We feel overwhelmed and we just want to toss everything to the side and start over. But that's a waste too. That's a waste of energy. Like, we don't need to start over. We just need to, be nice to our future selves and whittle our schedules down. Oh, and then one more thing that it leads to is resentment. Resentment. Why did I say yes to this? Like, I can't believe I have to do this. Like, what the heck? I wasn't even thinking about my future self. Your kids are burnt out. They're causing problems, probably because they're tired. A lot of the times, like, discipline issues are because they are overwhelmed themselves. They got too much going on. We don't want them to be these young kids, like, already burning out. We don't want that. So what would it look like to do things differently this year? Well, we could ease into our routines. We don't have to go full force, especially those of you that homeschool, like in traditional classrooms, they don't go, there are some teachers that just get right into it. I had one of my coworkers, maybe because he was former military police or something, but he would get right into the school year. We taught the same subject. So he would get right into the school year where I would ease into it over 2 weeks, get to know the kids, we get to know each other, kind of review some material before we get into the meat of things. So yeah, easing into routines instead of launching them all at once. So like my kids' classes, they don't all start at the same time. This week, my son starts his college class, and we pretty much are doing that and then easing in the other subjects as we go over these 2 weeks. Probably doing some like assessments, benchmark assessments and stuff like that, just to see where they're at, and just getting used to being back into the school routine, because it's kind of a shock to the system when you just go, all in and go all in like really hard, right? So yeah, we're just not launching. We're not doing all the things at once. And then 2 weeks from now, I think we have 2 more classes that start up for my daughter. And then a week from that, that's when like all the classes are in session. And so I I'm kind of preparing myself for that because I know I'm not going to have as much time to do all the things that I want to do, and I don't want to stress myself out by doing all the things I need to do for YouTube and Instagram and all that stuff, and for like with my coaching clients and my Anchor In program that I'm doing. I just need to give myself space then. So I'm doing a lot of work up front right now so that when the time comes, when we're doing all the things, I don't feel overwhelmed and anxious thinking that I also need to get my stuff done too, because I've already gotten it done. I've already gotten it done. And then also saying no. We need to say no to one thing for every yes. You know, we need to say no more. We don't have to do all the things. It's not like a desperate, we got to get rid of that desperate energy that we have to do all the things in order. No, because if we try to do all the things, we end up burning out and then we end up doing nothing, right? So we need to say no more and say yes to things that actually align with, you know, what's important. We need to schedule white space into our lives on purpose. Don't create the white space and then later on think, oh, I have time to add this into my schedule because I have this white space. It's like, no, just give yourself the white space. Act like the white space is something and not nothing. You know, it's not devoid of action. It's actually you resting, and resting is important because if you don't rest, if you don't give yourself some buffer zones, you're going to burn out, and we don't want that. We don't want to burn out this year, and we don't want our kids to burn out either. The next is to pick 1 or 2 seasonal priorities. So like my kids, they're interested in lots of things, and I have 3 of them, and so they want to do a lot of things. Like my daughter wants to do horseback riding and sewing and swimming and blah, 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 all this other stuff and art and blah, blah, blah. We can't do it all this semester. We're going to do a couple of them this semester, and then next semester we're going to do a couple of other things, because otherwise I'm just spending my time driving everyone here and there, and we're not actually getting any academic work done. Her life isn't going to go down the tubes because we didn't do swimming this semester. It's okay if we don't do all the things. And then we need to let go of the idea that more is better, because more is not better. More is just more stress. And we don't want that. We don't want stress. We want to be able to live happy, long lives. And if you're stressed out all the time, you're going to have a lot of health issues. So we need to nip it in the bud as soon as we can. Less is better. And then we need to start with what matters most. And it depends what for all of us, what matters most. It could be connection, it could be rest, or it could be rhythm. For me, it's finding our rhythm. It's finding our rhythm and then later seeing where I can fit in more of my things within my kids' rhythm, because our homeschool is the most important thing. Our homeschool comes first before my business, because I educate my kids, and that is my priority. So we find our rhythm, and then I'll feather in, here and there where I can do stuff. And if I have to do less work, then I do less, and that's okay. My business is not going to go down the tubes because I didn't work my ass off for, 2-3 months. It's okay. I mean, to be honest, if my business sinks, I built a really bad business if it can't even last 3 months of me not going hard on it. So if this episode made you take a deep breath like I just did right now and go, yeah, this is exactly what I needed, then would you do me a favor and share this episode with your friends or family that may need to hear this as well? Also would super love if you left a review either on Apple or Spotify, and it really helps more women or moms find the show. So remember, we are not doing burnout this year. Okay, I'll see you in September. Ciao.